Welcome, everyone, to AJ's World of Bodybuilding. We're trying something new today. There's always something new. We're having a prediction show for one of the craziest shows this summer, the Tampa Pro, and we're joined by the man, the legend, the Nigerian Lion, Samson Dauda. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, man. We appreciate it.
And you're filling up this screen. How much do you weigh right now?
Oh, man, as of today, 224 pounds.
How much?
324 pounds.
324 pounds. Oy, 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 oy. We have Dawid Czechowicz.
Yeah, I still got some eating to do to catch up to Samson. So yeah, I'm far from being his weight. I'm like 270 max.
He is a great bodybuilder from Poland. He also has his own channel. What's your channel called?
It's just by the name, Dawid Czechowicz, but it's hard to spell, obviously.
And also for people at home, he's very, very passionate about bodybuilding. You can see him on Instagram talking to everyone, sharing his opinion. He's very positive. He loves the sport, but he knows what's going down. And that's why it's great to have you on. Nigel Lomax, who is a bodybuilder himself, a full-time job. He is a great supporter of the sport. We used him a lot for muscle developments when I had my all-star crew, and he's very passionate, but he's also a little bit crazy with his opinions. That's why it's...
I call it the way that it is, and I'm always right. And I'm never going to be 324 pounds. Hats off to Samson. I mean, I'm 5'4", 210 pounds. So I would love 324 pounds of like muscle.
And you went from being almost obese, correct, to competing?
Yeah. So I was actually Samson's weight, but fat, like 20, 30 years ago. Yeah.
And you're also the only black Jew I know.
That's right. That's
I've never met one before. It's fantastic. And then we are going to talk about the Tampa Pro. We've seen some great shows this year. Arnold Classic, Boston Pro was fantastic. Guys, Samson, your top 3 shows this year. What do you think in level of the level we saw?
I have to say that the show where you have more names in it will always be big shows. Arnold Classic, obviously Boston. New York was so good. Yeah, you didn't have many guys in it, but it was still a good lineup. I was at the Orlando one. I was actually there. So that was definitely impressive to kind of watch that as well. So for me, obviously, I kind of really paid attention to because I was so close by in that one. So yeah.
Dawid, looking at this lineup in Tampa, are you impressed with the Open and the 212 lineup?
We can't really forget about the European show, by the way, the one that took just place. The top 6 was phenomenal. When we have some of the guys like Morgan team who are here about to compete and about to, get some redemption, get some improvements. And we already saw team improve in the last show. And a lot of people are just like, question marks, so to speak. It's for sure Akeem's show to lose. That's the fact. If he doesn't come peeled, he will lose. If he comes peeled, it is going to be extremely hard. But there are many people who are going to push him, Kamal, especially, Quinton, and of course, Mr. USA, Beef Stuart Sutherland, who is about to make his pro debut.
We're going to talk about all the athletes coming up, and later we're going to see who we have. Nigel, you saw the Tampa Pro list. Are you impressed with the 212 lineup, by the way?
There's a lot of good names in there. I have to say that it's probably the best lineup that you're going to get this year. It's kind of disappointing the fact that more top pros are not participating. And that has everything to do with qualification, which, I kind of disagree with the Olympia qualification, that they give out so many qualification spots in both the Open and 212. I think it puts a damper on guys, like top guys, actually doing a lot of shows. And also the fact that there isn't a lot of 212 shows out there, and there should be more 212 shows. If the Arnold's listening to me, bring back the 212 division, please. I mean, that is one of the reasons why I went to the Arnold every year and why I still go to the Arnold every year regardless. But the 212 division is one of the most exciting divisions, in the sport, and it should be heralded as it. as one because of the extreme conditioning and the amount of mass that these guys put on. I think it's really bad that we don't give them more attention.
We're going to go into the open. First guy on the list, Morgan Aste. David, talk to us a little bit about him.
Incredible conditioning. He always comes like 100% ready. We can't really speak about his shape when it comes to, it's not the perfect one. He's not the most beautiful lines guy, but when it comes to his past, he was an ex-strongman competitor, and he always brings it. As well, he improved his posing a lot. If you guys saw his posing routine, it was really, 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 really good for a guy this big, and it is going to be extremely hard to outsize him as well.
Samson, a guy with this type of conditioning but shape is not the shape as, for instance, yourself. Should a guy with this type of conditioning, should it be rewarded as much as you can win shows like this?
You do reward conditioning. I mean, at the end of the day, that's conditioning is key. You do reward it, but at the same time, when you're going up against guys that all carry very symmetrical shape, and they can carry that muscle a lot more prettier in their physique, or they look more densely packed in there, you can't overlook that. You know, conditioning can only go so far. So when you kind of look at the lineup, you think, especially him being a bigger and a taller guy as well, it doesn't look as pleasing to the eye compared to someone who's more compact and more pleasing with a pleasing shape. So it's just unfortunate because it's nothing to do with him. It's just his genetics, you know, card he was dealt. He's doing the best of what he can with it. But it's just unfortunate that you're in a lineup where everybody else in that lineup carries just a lot more to bring to the table.
He competed in Portugal. I think he was, I don't know. Obviously, it's very different watching a stream, but I would like to see him place a little bit higher because of his conditioning. I think he placed, do you guys remember where he placed? Sixth?
He was sixth.
Sixth place. From
That's not a bad place. I don't think that's a bad place. I mean, if you look at the 5 guys ahead of him, could you really put him above them? Because they weren't exactly out of condition either.
No. And the point is that he's got great conditioning and everything, and he's so tall as well. But his upper body and his lower body do not exactly match. You know, there's certain shots to where he's just phenomenal in. But then when you look at it, you see bodybuilding is a totality sport. It's not just your upper body. It's in every pose, your upper body and your lower body have to be symmetrical. And unfortunately, Morgan isn't that. But he's a phenomenal. I mean, listen, he can get in. He's never out of shape. I've never seen him out of shape. And he's a phenomenal bodybuilder. It's just, you know, the fact that his upper and his lower body are asymmetrical. And that's a problem for him.
We got to go a little bit faster because we only have 40 minutes. Eddie Bracamontes from San Diego, California, usually placed in the round 6 to 7 spot at the, I want to say smaller show, but the Cali Pro and shows like that. What do you expect to see from him, David?
Again, a guy who isn't as pleasing as, for example, Roman, who is going to be like most aesthetic guy on the show, but Eddie is a mass monster. He's incredibly huge, and we can't forget he used to train with Sergio, so perhaps he has brought some tricks, you know, to the table. So we are going to see something probably new as Eddie took a little bit of break, and I hope that we just see an improved version. Is he going to crack the top 5? Probably not, but if he comes huge and big, then we are going to compare him probably to Morgan and to guys like top 6 to 9.
I agree. He said on his Instagram he's bringing his best package ever. I think he's with Matt Jansen, and let's hope it comes true. Tim Budenzeim from Germany. Nigel, that's one of the guys I remember you talked a lot to me about the last, let's say 3 years ago.
Yep. Yeah.
Personally, for me, I've seen him up close. I would like to see him to come in tighter, and he's getting very big. I don't see the separation, Nigel.
There is no separation. You know, really, I'm kind of disappointed in the way that the way that he's looking on stage. his problem is not his muscular development. His problem is actually coming in lean. He really does need to. He was holding a lot of water last time. He really does need to come in very cut and very dry. So if for him, in order to be in the top 5, which is going to be hard for him, but for him to be in the top 5, to me, he's going to have to be conditioned to the gills.
One more thing, when it comes to the team, I think that Samson especially realized that his posing from the back looks somehow off. He does something wrong with especially with the back double. There is something off with the pose.
He doesn't spread out. He poses like a short man. If you look at him pose, he poses very enclosed instead of spreading out. And that's a problem with him. But I think it's also because he's not very conditioned. He's not conditioned enough in order to feel that pose or to feel any of the poses. I think a lot of it is his conditioning and his posing ability and feeling that muscle. He grew a lot and everything, and he grew fast, in comparison. And I just don't think that his body is compensating for the amount of muscle he put on. With his posing and with his conditioning, it's going to be a couple more years for him. But if I were him, I wouldn't concentrate on getting any bigger. I'd concentrate on figuring out the muscle that you have right now.
What do you think, Samson? You competed against him.
I remember speaking to him after the Arnold last year, Arnold UK, and he sort of was convinced that he needed a little bit more size, so to get into that top spot and fight for that pot. And I know that he's kind of been his driving force since then to kind of put on more size for it. But the thing is, he was known for that condition. When he was, I think he was one of the Cali pros, and he was like second to, exactly.
2017, 18, wasn't it?
19, like that. And he was great then. He was real track then. Even I would look at him going, man, this guy's going to be trouble. But I think now where he's kind of focusing just on that, trying to bring up the size thing, is sort of affecting what his main strengths were. And I think going back to the idea of, okay, come back with that nice conditioning you used to have, that would work out a lot better for him.
Next on the list, the Jamaican tank, Phil Clayhart. I just had an interview with him. He said he's doing his own diet for this show. He gets help from George Farah, but he wants to do it himself alone for this show. He said he's suffering like never before, and he said he's beating his old Tampa pro look. And he says it's in his hometown, and he's going to come in peeled. What do you think about that, Samson? You've seen him at Boston. At that time, there were some problems with his flight or whatever it was. What do you think?
Boston, I also saw him in Orlando a few weeks ago. And he looks good, man. He looks good. He's another guy that he's a lot bigger in person that you actually see when you actually see him on screen and everything else. And the thing is, he was conditioned then. It wasn't like he was off or anything like that. But with Phil, I don't know what it is. Taking the fact that the guy's 51?
48.
Or 48. Okay. I know that he's definitely older. So it probably just a fact where, you have the younger guys where their muscle just looks a lot fuller in their physique. And he's starting to kind of lose that as time goes on, where he's conditioned enough, he has the muscle and everything else, but it doesn't seem to have that same pop and fullness like he used to. So I've seen him come back before. Obviously, last year or so, he came back and shocked everybody. So he has done it before. So hell knows he could be able to do it again.
David, what do you like about Phil Clayhart's physique? And does he have the potential to win this show?
His frame is insane. That's for sure. He has every tool, so no one can count him out. But the thing is that he had some problems with his lower abdominals. When he was posing, he wasn't really controlling it. So he has to take it into consideration. But as Samson said, that perhaps is just an age issue. That's just how it goes. You remember, guys, how Dexter used to look when he got older. The lower abdominals just kind of sticked out, a little sticked out. He wasn't able to control it. So maybe that's the problem.
Then a very exciting name for people in Europe, especially. He was the big thing back in 2016. Roman Fritz. He's back at the Tampa Pro. Nigel, what are you expecting from Roman Fritz?
I've always liked Roman Fritz. I mean, he's got a great shape. Normally, he comes in really good conditioning. I know that he took some time in order to like put on a lot of muscle and everything. I would like to see him in the top 5. I just like his physique a lot. His posing has always been a problem, though. The way that he poses, especially on his back, and I thought that he probably needed a little bit more detail on his back. I think his back is his biggest problem. But if he corrected those issues and everything with that sort of frame and that sort of conditioning that he's known to have, he should be able to make it at least into the top 6, in my opinion.
Samson, many years people have said Roman Fritz, and we've seen some of his. David told me a little bit about his diet. He always stays very lean. He doesn't go up too much. He doesn't eat that much carbs for the off season. He doesn't pack on that size. Is it possible to reach next level size without getting a little bit heavy in the off season?
Gotta get heavy, man. I mean, that's what we're doing. You gotta understand, like, it doesn't mean, the thing is, people misunderstand the idea of getting heavy with eating loads of junk food. It's a whole different ballgame. You just gotta eat more. Clean food, but you just gotta eat more. I mean, Roman, I think Roman's got an amazing physique, like unbelievable physique. I remember seeing him when I was coming up. I'm thinking, God damn, this guy, he knows how to nail his conditioning. He has the look, he's symmetrical, he's not, he's got that flow to his physique. But the one thing that you always see, when he stands next to a thicker guy, he disappears. And this is the same thing that I'm having the same fear now, that he's going to be great. I mean, I think for sure he's going to crack the top 6. That one, I think he's going to do that anyway. But I think where he stands next to someone like Akeem, and I think that's where he's going to expose for not having enough thickness, enough fullness to actually stand with those guys.
Next on the list, a guy who definitely doesn't like any thickness, Dorian Haywood. Big, nasty, great size, a lot of energy, full as a house, but shape maybe not as a Sean Roden, but looks great. What are we thinking about Dorian Haywood there, David?
He's always improving. That's the most important thing. He has improved a lot when it comes to, when we compare his previous versions to the one that we are seeing now, it's a lot better. But the thing is, he has been dieting for so long, and it might hurt him already, because his body may be tired. As we have, I don't know if you probably have watched his updates like 2 weeks ago. He seemed really tired. It wasn't like he's like anyhow flat or fat. His body just seemed like something was already telling him to just chill out. So that might be a problem. But as you said, he's an entertainer, someone that we need on the stage, like Samson. Samson is as well always powerful. He's trying to show, come on, more. And we need this on the stage.
Nigel, quick question. Who's your top 3 performers in Pro League right now? Routines only.
Routines only?
Quick.
Dorian is one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dorian's a great showman. Samson is a great showman as well. And so is Rolly. Rolly's a great showman. I like Rolly's energy. So, but I have to admit that as far as posing goes, the league is really lax on posing right now. I wish that they would be a little bit better on posing, and posing was, was judged, was part of the category of judgment.
I think Bob Chick took it away, or I think he said something about they didn't count it anyway, or I don't remember what it exactly was. Henry Jackson.
It wouldn't surprise me. Bob Chick was not a great poster. So.
Henry Jackson III. Refresh my memory, guys. Henry Jackson III.
It's his pro debut. It's his pro debut, and he, if you look at his pictures, he actually looks really similar to Samson like 2 years ago. Oh. Similar muscle, but especially when he does the clapped hands, muscular, it really looks alike. So, and from the back, when he turns around, it's the same shape almost, not as big. But you're like, yeah, he's cool. He's really cool.
Did you think David, quick, did you think 3 years ago when Samson was in Romania, wherever it was, that we will stand here right now as one of the favorites to crack that top 4 at this Olympia?
I think that no one really believed, to be honest. Samson has proved so many people wrong that he has, only one he has to prove wrong right now is himself. He has proven everyone wrong.
Then a name that Samson knows very well. The Korean nightmare. Song Chul Lee from Korea, Samson. Tremendous shape. What are we going to wait for him this year at Tampa?
Is somebody that's a big threat. And it's always the same thing. He just needs to be a little bit harder. He's got big round chest, big full arms, like everything is there. Like you look at him and go, wow, okay, that's impressive. But he's just never tight enough. And this is one thing that if he manages to do that, yeah, then he'll be fighting with the top spot for the top guys in this one. Because he's big. He's a lot like big guy.
Do you think it's because of genetics? Because he's been around for a while and he's never hit it right. And I can't understand if it's the diet, because that's a lot of missing of a diet. I think it's genetics with him.
I mean, the thing is, we've never known coaches he worked with. I could have said anything with me a few years ago. I was genetic, I can't really get it out. But then switching coaches and switching mentality, he actually shows you things that your body can do that you never knew. So with him, I just think that, whatever it is, finding a different method to go forward will really do him some good, because he's got the tools. He just needs somebody to sort of lead him the right way, because, wow, if he does, that is one powerful bodybuilder coming from Korea.
He just lost in Korea to a new Arabic bodybuilder by the name of...
Yep. I remember watching that show, and the same thing. He was a guy
I think his name was Ali.
Yeah, he was shredded. Ali was shredded. He was shredded and big, and that's the reason why he won that show.
Exactly. So this is what I mean. Like, he's got the guy. He outmasked him so big. He was so big next to him, but shredded that you just like, look, you couldn't deny him that. So when you can see that like a glaring problem, I think it's something where you have to step back and say, okay, right, I see what I need to work on. It's not the math.
Is he peaking wrong, or are we talking about he's weeks out?
I think he's still weeks out.
Yep.
He's still dialed in.
That's a big problem.
Next guy, always impressed on Instagram. Crazy round muscle bellies. Insane, like beautiful physique on Instagram. But on stage, he hasn't delivered what we thought coming in. He's got a lot of interviews and people had a lot of eyes on him. And he looks beautiful, but on stage, I don't know, it's not exactly the same. Joseph Mackey. David, you know him?
How in the earth is he able to keep his waist so small that lifting this weight? That's the question, because his waist is literally like a baby, and that lifts like 400 kilos, something like this. The crazy amounts. Yeah, and that's the thing, and I think that he was overlooked last year. He was a lot overlooked. He should have placed higher, and he has everything, to be honest. When you watch his physique, when he stands alone, of course, he has everything. Perhaps it's like he doesn't have the frame of the tall guys. He isn't that wide. That's perhaps the problem. When he stands to a guy who is just wider than him, he might lose this, this impact.
Because Samson, this is top level muscle bellies this gentleman has.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, because he was obviously 12 hostile not long ago. And I remember seeing him and thinking, wow, man, the shape on him, everything is there. And it looks so pretty and so beautiful as well. That you're kind of looking going, man, why is this guy not like ranking shows? He should be. But I don't know what it is. Honestly, I can't even put my finger on it, what it is. I don't know whether it's not because it's not hard enough or he's not, mature enough or what it is. But honestly, if he keeps going, I think he will get it, because I think he really does have it there to just takes time or whatever he needs to do, but he just needs to do something about it.
We gotta go quicker because the 212 we gotta talk about also Anu Gwen. Nigel, Anu Gwen, we want to see him nail. We've said it a billion times.
Yeah,
he's the moment Anu Gwen finally comes in shredded, bro. Yes or no?
every time I say yes, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's not going to come in. I'm now not a believer. If he came in shredded, there's no doubt he would be in the top 6. But he's not going to come in shredded.
Well, never say never. Last man, my favorite, probably to win based on everything I've seen before. He was the standout star in 2020, Akeem Williams. We haven't seen anything. He's supposed to do some shows. He couldn't do it. He went sick. 2021 didn't work out exactly as we predicted. But now, Samson, Akeem Williams.
I mean, you look at this show or you look at this lineup, you just think, okay, it's his show to lose. There's no question about it. He's got everything. He's there. He's done it before. He's experienced. Everything he needs to do, he's already there. Akeem, you know, if he nails it, that's it. It's lights out for everybody. There's no even question about it. It's like, well, you know, Akeem shredded, he's a top Olympian. He's literally up there and fighting for the top spot because he's just crazy amount of muscle, you know. So, like I said, this one, the same thing. If he comes in, that's it. Game over. We can all go home.
Let's go in. Guys, we have a list in front of us. We have 10 minutes, and then we probably stop and go back for the 212, but we have 10 minutes. Dawid, you looking at the list?
Wait, there are 3 more guys: Kamal, Quinton, and Booth.
Oh yeah. We add Kamal and Quinton in. Everyone knows they're Kamal, guys, from the 212 to the open. Are you excited about that, Nigel?
Oh yeah. I think Kamal is going to surprise some people. I mean, you don't have to worry about him with conditioning. The only thing you have to worry about is whether or not he has enough size. I've seen his pictures and everything. I think he does have enough size to take some guys out. I think he has potential to be top 3 with what he has right now. You know, because I mean, this is not a hard lineup for him to crack, and he's already an Olympian. So,
Quinton, David, the future of bodybuilding, some call him. He should have had Joel Thomas at Toronto, but he didn't do it. Are you excited about him entering the show?
It's just a matter of time when he peaks right, and it's going to be really, really hard for everyone. That's the truth. He improved everything, like every part, every body part, and he comes conditioned finally. We see that he's crisp. He's really, really crisp. So it's just a matter of time. And I hope that we are going to see something, you know, he's a tall guy, he's a wide guy, he has incredible shape. So everything is there. Just come in and do your job.
I think you're wait a minute. I actually work out the same gym as him.
Okay.
And I see him. He's going to shock people. He's in really good condition. The guy is humongous. I see him every single day, and he towers. If you thought Antoine looked good, Quinton looks really, really good. So
better than Antoine.
I'm sorry?
Is he better looking than Antoine?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looks really, really good. I mean, I think really this might be one of the, you know, the shows that you're going to be like, Quinton, wow. I mean, he's worked really, really hard. So I think, and he's coached by the same guy as Antoine, Dorian. And so I think this is his time. I really do.
Let's get into our joint top 5, and then we can break it down. So, guys, we're looking at the list. In our top 5, we have Akeem. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
We have Kamal.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have Quinton.
Yep.
Yes.
And now, this we all agree on. Do we have Phil Clayard in the top 5?
I do not.
I think he might sneak in there. I have a feeling that he would sneak in there.
I do.
I think he would.
David?
He controls his midsection.
If he corrects his midsection and be it, I'm 52 and I have the same problem he does, it is very hard, especially that turnaround. I don't see it. I really don't. But I mean, he's a great athlete, but that midsection was horrid.
Got it. Okay, so he's in. Who's your? It's okay. Instead of Phil, for you then, Nigel, who do you have?
I'm sorry.
Let's have a next man then first. So this here, guys, it gets tricky because we have Sung Choo Lee, we have Roman Fritz, we have Joseph Mackey, Tim Budenzeim. We have a lot of good guys in here now.
I think Joseph might be able to, if he comes conditioned everything, Joseph might be able to get into that, into that mix right there. And Sun Jun Lee, if he comes in, but I think Joseph might be the best bet on that one.
Okay, so Samson, your top 5 first.
Other than the top 3 we already picked out.
Yeah.
And I'll say Roman Fritz. I'll give him a nod that he might, because I know he's coming in condition. He always comes in condition, and I think for him, compared to the other guys, is will they nail the condition? But with him, he comes in condition. The only difference is, will he have enough muscle? So for that, I'll put him in top 5. And then the other one will be, like I said, Phil. Honestly, he's done a lot of shows, and as you said, if he controls the midsection, he'll probably be getting there as well.
So who's your winner? Can you give us a winner?
This is going to be a tie. I think it'll be a battle between Akeem and Quincy. The reason why, I know obviously Kamal is going to be, he's going to be right out there. But I just think, man, it's a muscle show, man. It's a size game. It's an open class. You got to be big. And I don't know how, because these other 2 guys are not just big, they got big frames. So it's different if the other 2 guys were like, 5'9" or something like that, 5'9" and lower. But they're both tall, big guys, and they both hold a lot of muscle. So I'm really interested to see what happens.
David, your top 5?
And I'm going to probably surprise some people, because I think that Kamal takes it.
Oh.
And because Quinton is just going to look not complete from the back yet. Akeem, I have the same doubt as you do when it comes to the Nubian. I don't think that he's going to come in shape. No, I have seen him guest posing like 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and he was kind of off. So I think that Akeem is going to take 3rd. 4th is going to be between Roman, Phil, and Tim.
Yeah.
Nigel?
I've got 4th Roman, and I'm going to go 5th Mackie. And actually, I'm gonna join him with Camille. I think Camille
winning, yeah.
Yeah, because you look at, listen to your point, but Sean beat 2 tall men with a lot more muscle than him.
Clarida.
And fullness, and Camille's going to bring conditioning and fullness. And we've seen it where Akeem's my guy, but Akeem has a problem with being in condition at certain points in time. And Quinton, even though I think he's improved a great deal and everything, he does have a question about his back. So it depends on what his back looks like. But Camille is always going to be ready. He's a veteran and he's a professional. So I've got Camille all the way.
Let the record show, guys, we have 2 of the 4 are picking Kamal. Samson is picking Akeem or Quinton. And I got to go with either Quinton, Akeem, or Phil Clare. They got to reward the size here, guys. Come on now. What is this? This is the Open, isn't it?
You know why? Because there is a saying, when the people see that God bleeds, they start to, deny his fate. And we saw that, Sean can take people down. Angelo Calderon can take people down. He won as well at Open Show. So
that wasn't a stack show. That was not a stack show.
But he has won. He has won the Open. It doesn't matter.
It wasn't a stack show, bro.
In the end, a win is a win.
That's right. People would be hard pressed to beat Angel. I mean, come on, that guy has everything. If he comes in lean, it won't matter who's in that show. He still is a top 5 competitor, even as a 212 guy. I mean, he doesn't even look like he's in 212. He's a monster, and I totally agree with you. It doesn't matter.
Samson, last word before we go.
I feel like the thing is, right, there's a reason there's 2 plus, the reason it's Open. For you to have a bigger frame and fill it out, and for 212 guys to fill it out their frame, you gotta reward the idea of muscle. This is a muscle show. You can't say, okay, it doesn't matter how big you are, how tall you are. He's small, he's filled out, he's shredded. Then why is Ramy Mr. Olympia? Hadi should have won the last 3 then if size doesn't matter.
Well, Samson, Hadi didn't win it because of some body part issues and everything. If you look at his body parts, the shape of his body parts compared to Ramy's, there's a huge difference here.
But as you said, he's still more shredded. He's more complete. Don't get away. He is still more complete than Ramy.
Yeah, but aesthetically, if you look at Rami and you look at Hadi, I'm not saying right now because I'll change my mind this year. But if you look at it then, though, you have to admit aesthetically, Rami's got him aesthetically.
I wouldn't go that far.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.